All right, hello everyone. I am a lady named Pearl, the founder of a Lady Named Pearl Modeling and Leadership Academy, and I am here with the wonderful Max Tucci.
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
Welcome. How are you?
So listen, ladies, I had a video go viral last week with the amazing top model, supermodel, Fatou Jobe. And this is the gentleman that discovered her, okay? Mr. Max Tucci.
You should be a model. After I left Mississippi, a week after I left Mississippi, a year after crying, begging God, praying, asking my mother for forgiveness because I was on the wrong path. I opened my heart up to God so much that I've never done in my life. I just gave him all of my heart and my... You could ask her, this is like literally my savior, this woman over here. She held me from taking my own life, you know? And I walked into New York and I'm like, I'm gonna go back home. I'm gonna start my life over. I'm gonna go try to get a job. Because, yeah, manifestation is cute and all of that, but like, hello. So, a week after I came back to New York, I left her home. And I went back home. My mother said she wasn't ready for me to come home. So I went to 42nd Street. And this old white guy saw me. And he was like, oh, you're so beautiful. And I'm crying on the stairs of the train station. You should be a model. I know Beth Bolt. She discovered Naomi Campbell. I was like, who are you? Are you loud? Get out of my face. Like, what is this happening? And he's like, my boyfriend at the time was standing next to me. He took his information and he was like telling me every day, you should call this guy, you should call this guy. We're hopping from hotel to hotel at the same time. I'm like, if you're gonna offer me anything, it's better than this. I called him. He got me a meeting the next day. I went into the office, state management office, and I got signed the same day. With my bag of clothes, in a garbage bag, I walked into this beautiful agency with a bunch of white people. And, you know, they didn't take it as a big deal. They saw me and they said, she's gonna make us money. So they took me and they put me in the apartment. 2 weeks after that, I auditioned for Calvin Klein and I did exclusive Calvin Klein. The next show I did was in Paris and I did Dior exclusive, and that was the beginning of my career.
I know I've been getting a lot of messages. Fatu has been getting a lot of messages. You as well have been getting a lot of messages. So I just happen to be in New York. Come on, you all. How divine is that I happen to be in New York? I reached out to Max and he said, come on over, Pearl. Because I wanted to get his perspective and then also help you all out that are upcoming models that want to get into the industry, just provide some clarification. So Max, how are you today?
I'm super, thank you.
Okay, awesome.
Thank
So
you.
you were telling me, just before we even get into Fatu, your background as an artist and in the modeling industry. So let's start there.
So really, and thank you for coming here today. But I think the genesis really of where my career started was with my mother in her womb, because my mother is a very prominent fashion figure. She had stores on Madison Avenue. She was executive vice president for fur companies. She was always in the fashion industry. And her first fashion gig, let's call it, was modeling.
Look at my face, you all. Okay.
So, you know, and I think like that's an important thing to remember, because yes, I have this creative spirit to me, but while I was marinating in my mother's womb, I was already being taught about fashion and photography and models. So that's the genesis of it. Then I'm born, fast forward, and Beth Bolt, who's the name that you all know now, and if you didn't, now you know. But Beth discovered Naomi Campbell. But prior, and also after that, she had Bolt Modeling Agency, which was a huge agency in London. And for those that don't know about the situation, Beth had a huge tragedy in her life with the agency. She was celebrating an anniversary with the agency. She chartered a boat. There was a huge event on the boat. Beth's daughter wasn't feeling well, And so Beth stayed home that night. That night, the boat capsized, and a huge amount of her agency passed away. And she had no idea. The next morning, she goes to the agency, and there's flowers and press and all of this stuff. And it hit Beth so hard.
Wow.
And she lost the majority of her agency. And so Beth came back from the UK, she came back to the States, she went to Alabama, and she was rediscovering her life. And I don't want to speak for her, so I'm just using words like that I think are appropriate. And then what was really interesting was she had moved back to New York, and she was working with Next and Ford as a photographer and as a scout. And then she opened an agency in Connecticut, and they scouted my sister, and I met Beth, and we had this instant attraction. And I was like 14 or 15. And I was really fascinated by Beth because she was like meeting all these girls, major photo shoots. And so I said, can I come and like mentor and intern with you? She's like, absolutely. My mother was very liberal with my education. So like with my school, I said, what I'm gonna learn from Beth, I can't learn in school.
Absolutely.
And so Beth was super encouraging, and she taught me so much about the industry. She taught me so much about photography, and also she taught me about that eye, what to look for. And so as my career in photography, then it went into fashion design, and then it went into television, was kind of like, the journey.
Okay, photography, fashion design, and television.
And then radio.
And then radio. So
Yeah.
you're an artist, creative, entertainer.
Aquarius.
Aquarius.
Like Fatu.
Okay.
And we have the same birthday too.
What?
Yeah. But, and then I was featured on America's Next Top Model with Tyra Banks, and that was like the first episode. And so, I have the joy in life where I'm able to look up when I walk, right? And that's important for scouting. Because if you're looking at your phone or you're looking down because you don't have that confidence in yourself, you're gonna miss someone walking by. So I have this joy to look up when I walk. And I've always been looking. And they say what you're looking for is looking for you. But in that moment that I was looking, there was like, okay, I got a lot of, possibilities. But nothing felt like, I don't want to waste time, mine or someone else's. And I don't want to like promise false dreams. And that's not to discourage anyone that's watching, but I know what's right for me and for what I'm aligned to do. And so the day that I discovered Fatu was really, there's that movie called Sliding Doors with Gwyneth Paltrow.
Okay.
And it's about the subway where she missed the train and her life went this way. But then they show if she had caught the train, her life would have gone that way. So I was in the subway, and it was late at night, and my subway broke down. And so I was redirected. And so in that redirection, again, I look up when I walk. But with Fatu, it was more of an energetic, divine energy. So I'm at the subway, 42nd Street, she's there too. I didn't know this yet. It's like our lives are about to meet.
Wow.
And so it's that moment that all that is rises up to meet you. Not only me, but Fatu. And it's when I'm saying I want to be of service to people, it's not just scouting. And when she's praying, I'm looking for someone, for a different life. Those prayers, that meditation, it's all being woven together from two complete strangers. And then the moment happens. So when she was at the top of the stairs walking down, I felt her energy. And I turned around and I looked up the stairs and I was like, holy shit. Like, that's who Beth is saying, look, you've been looking for.
Yes.
Like everything in my being was like, oh my God, she is beautiful.
Yes.
She's stunning. She's vibrant.
Yes.
No shade, Fatu. But then when I saw her clothes, I was like, I don't think she's a model.
Okay, when you saw her clothes?
Yeah, she was, like, as she said, she was living out of, like, garbage bags of clothes. So she, and I felt like she was, like, in a place in her life where that beauty, that inner beauty that she has wasn't being shown on the outside.
Yeah, okay.
For whatever reason. I didn't know the backstory.
Yes.
But there was definitely a dim to her light, let's call it. And so I had a reservation, and I was like, you know what? Let me not even, it's late, I want to get home. And I started going towards the other subway to leave.
Wow.
And then I was like, you know what? Let me go back.
The energy pulled you back. Intuition was like, no, go back.
Divinity was like, no.
Okay.
And so I called Beth in that moment. I said, Beth, I think I found like the next one. She goes, Max, it's late. I said, just stay on the phone with me because I'm about to go approach her, right? So Beth is like, all right, I got you. So I'm on the phone, like Beth is on standby, and Fatu was like going through whatever she was going through at this point. She was on her phone, she was disengaged with the surroundings, and she was with her boyfriend at the time. And so I was like, okay, let me talk to him first because I don't want to get jacked up.
Right.
I just want to get home and go to bed. So I approached him, I said, does your girlfriend want a model? Or I said, does your friend want a model? And he said, ask her.
Yes, okay.
So I'm like, do you want a model? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, in my head, I was like, okay, like, I'm not gonna do the work for you. This is the dialogue in my head. So I'm like, I'm not gonna do the work for you. I was like, you've gotta want this more than I want this for you. And I got Beth Bolt on the phone and she discovered Naomi Campbell. And Fatu's like, okay, and I'm like,
and what?
I was like, but you can talk to her. And I said, if you don't believe us, you like, we're Googleable. And I said that because, you know, it's like there's so many scams in this industry, right? And so I wanted to be, like, I wanted that validation in that moment, right? Like, here's Beth Bolt. I'm not dropping her name. I'm giving you assurance that who I am is legit. Naomi Campbell's legit. The subway I know is a crazy place, but Google, you can like Google me and Beth and you'll see that we're legit. Fine. So I said, you got to call me, I'm not calling you. And that's the work. It's easy for a scout to say you're going to be it, but you got to do the work. I'm not going to hunt you down. If you want a model and you want to be this, then you got to call me. So Beth spoke to her. I gave her my information. I left. And on the way home, I was like, oh my God, please let her call, please let her call, please let her call. Day 1, day 2, day 3, and Beth is calling. Where's Fatu?
Fatu was on the phone with Beth Bolt, but she was going through so much.
She didn't know who she was on the phone with. She could have been on the phone with Prince, with Lenny Kravitz, and she would have been like, okay, and who are you? Right? In her beautiful little smirk that she got, that you all saw in that video. She's like, okay, and?
I love it.
Right?
I love it. All that
and that's real.
Yes.
And so Beth is calling me, where's Fatu? Where's Fatu? I'm like, Beth, I was like, I promise you she's gonna call. And I had no idea if she was gonna call. But I just knew that there was something bigger in that moment for her not to call. So then Fatu calls.
Day 3?
Or 4.
Okay.
And I'm like, what? I was like, okay. And I'm gonna send you the first picture of us together.
Awesome.
And so we meet again in the subway.
Okay.
Right. So now, like, after this all blew up, I became known. I went from the subway to the runway. Right. The subway scout.
Okay.
That was Fatu's story. She went from the subway to literally to the runway. And so it was like, she calls, and I remember telling her the first thing. I'm like, you got to take your braids out. And she's like, it's not happening. I'm like, then you're not ready.
Oh, wow.
And then you're not ready.
Wow.
Because if Karl Lagerfeld is going to say, I love you, but I don't like your hair, you got to change it, he's the client. So you have to be adaptable in that moment to let go of your ego and your pride and to trust the situation that your client, Ralph Lauren, Karl Lagerfeld, knows something bigger than you do in that moment. And erase the vanity, right? So Fatu, she took those braids out, and I have those pictures, but we ain't gonna share those. Because she's like, no one can ever see those. I respect her. But, you know, there was this one photo, and then we became, you know, like, we had this mutual friendship. And so, literally instantaneously. And then we took her first to Next.
Okay.
And Next, shame on Next, didn't take her. And I'm like, rejection's protection, so that's okay. And Next was like, oh, she's got to lose a couple pounds or this or that. And I'm like, then she's not for you.
Yeah.
So Beth and I were like, really like, you know, trying to hone her into what was going to be the right thing at the right moment. And so then we took her to State, And literally, as you've seen the video, State took her, and then Calvin Klein exclusive, then Dior exclusive, and then Numero was like the first cover, and now we know her career has exploded. So really, it was that energetic moment in that subway where what you're looking for is looking for you, for both of us. And I think really the most beautiful aspect and part of this now is that years later, on a personal note, when Fatu's father passed away, we had a good cry, the both of us, because she said, you don't understand that the opportunities that I have been given and how you helped me get to them, I was able to send my whole family to the funeral, to celebrate my father's life, for all of us to live in a better place. And so, those are the things that scouts, agencies, if they're disconnected to the model, they don't hear those stories. They don't know the trials and the tribulations. They don't know the victories. And so in that moment, and this was years later, when she told me that, yes, I knew I affected her life. Yes, I knew that this industry changed her life. But it was really more than just Fatu. It was her family. I'm a huge family person.
Yes.
Ancestors every day.
Yes.
I ask my ancestors to show up before I do.
Wow.
And so, so I think really, when we're on this path of life, and when we trust in a bigger purpose, and when we surrender to all that is, we never know what's going to present itself. And it was in that moment, in that subway station, where really the magic and beauty of life blossomed.
I love it, Max. It's like, I don't even have any questions to ask because Max covered everything. But look, I'm going to look out for you all because I know a lot of you want to get in touch with Max. But what I want to add to his story is when I met Fatu in person. So I told you all, the photos were illuminating off the page and talking to me, but when I saw her at the expo, it was just this energy radiating from her, and I'm just like, Fatu, so it's this energy that she has that radiates from her. Max, thank you for being so thorough with that story and ending it with that you were able to, in that moment, in the future, have her have the ability to give her family flowers, in terms of, sending their father to the next. Yes. So it's beautiful how, all of that came together, Max. And your amazing positive energy and Fatu's just illuminating, light and energy. What a beautiful marriage.
It's, it's really... It's that moment where it's like, okay, there's that song, these are the moments, the moments we live for.
Yes, okay.
Inject song.
Got you. Okay, look, I'm going to find that song and I'm going to put that in the background.
And that's the moment. That was the moment where it was like, and Beth and I, we're like the proud, step parents.
Yes.
Beth is so proud. I'm so proud. And I remember when Fatu was like first, running around and everything and going here and going there. And, she was exhausted. And I was like, Fatu, remember what God has for you, it is for you.
Thank you. Okay, trust the process and surrender.
But do the work.
Okay, talk a little bit.
But do the work.
Because one thing that I admire about you and your ancestors, look, you're coming on 100 years, your family coming on 100 years next year and being in the hospitality industry. That's not an easy feat. What is it that you all are doing? You get what I'm saying? What tips can you give to trust the process, to surrender, and have longevity, if that makes any sense?
It makes perfect sense. And just do the work.
Yeah, do the work.
Mama Jan Levinsant was always like, do the work.
Yes.
And so, for me, I had two options. Option one was my ancestors paved this yellow brick road of majesty for me.
Wow.
And do I walk it, or do I create my own? And sometimes it's easier to create your own, and sometimes you don't have this yellow brick road that your ancestors paved for you. And so I made my own road. You know, I made the U-turn and the curve in the road. But that curve came right back to that yellow brick road. And so I've decided to continue to lay the foundation of that yellow brick road and to enjoy walking down it.
Wow.
And notice.
Wow.
So, you know, that's, for me, that's what it's really all about, is honoring the ancestors and doing the work. You know, I think the most important part is not everything is going to work out the way we think it's going to work out. Not every agency is going to want you. Not every designer is going to want you. But remember that what God has for you, it is for you. Okay? So that means that many things. It means that if you're going to scout, or if you want to be a model, and that's your destiny, it will unfold. But you've got to do the work. I can't stress the work more importantly than you've got to do it. For me, I do the work every day. You know, and the work is asking every morning, right? Asking whoever you ask, open me up for offers, options, and opportunities for the highest good of my life. And I'm willing to do the work. That's what I say every morning. I open myself up to the 3 O's, to offers, options, and opportunities for the highest good of my life, and I'm willing to do the work. And then I'm willing to, you know, get what comes with the work. So there's that, you know, there's that currency that comes with a current when you do the work. And so for me, it's really trusting my own self and showing up and trusting that there are a lot of offers, options, and opportunities. And again, I don't want to rain on anyone's parade if they're not appearing yet. And remember that if modeling is something that you want to do, but it doesn't work out, that rejection is protection, and there's something bigger for your calling. Modeling isn't the answer for everything, but your life is. And so trust yourself, pray, meditate, ask, call on your ancestors, ask for those offers, options, opportunities. And if modeling works, we see the results with Fatu. And if it doesn't work, I promise you, there's a beautiful illustration where there's this little child and it's holding a bear. And God is in front of the child, and God is saying, give me the bear. And the child's like, no, it's my bear. And behind God's back is a bear this big.
Wow.
So sometimes you got to give that little toy up in order to get what the divine has for you. Trust the process.
This is beautiful. Hello, everyone. This is beautiful. Okay, he has me kind of like in his, okay, get it together, Pearl. Okay, pull it back down. Okay. All right, so, Max, wow. Okay, I got to get back to okay. So we do have a lot of people that have hit you up, you know, on Instagram. You were talking about if you could help them, or, well, first, this is what I wanted to say. That you are a model regardless. That's what I wanted to say. You know, regardless of an agency or not, if it's in you to model and project what's in you, that beautiful light, or you have art within you that you want to wear externally, you are a model already.
That's right.
You are a model already. So know that within yourself. And whoever is attracted to that light will come to you. But doing the work, I think that's very important, because sometimes we have these visions, but we're not doing the work. We're thinking that it's just going to automatically come to us, right? So we have to do the work so that when we do get the opportunity, we're prepared, correct?
Yeah. You know, and I think in just what you're saying is that you are the model. No matter who we are in this life, everybody wants these 3 things. Do you see me? Do you hear me? Do I matter? So I'm telling you right now, I see you, I hear you, and you matter. And you are a model. It doesn't mean that an agency needs to sign you, right? You're a model of life. You're a model of the divine. You're a model of all that is. So rise up and be a model, a role model for so many things. You know, the industry is interesting. It's changing at a fast pace. You know, one day it's like girls with freckles. Then one day it's girls with pale skin. One day it's bald girls. One day it's, you know, girls with big ears. You know, it's all a whole, one day it's changing. So to break down, I think, and I appreciate all of your emails and DMs and everything reaching out. I run 2 restaurants. I'm always busy with them. And so naturally I can't respond to everyone. But I made a statement when this video of Fatu went viral with, you know, the requirements. The industry has requirements from my perspective. So I might not be the scout for you, but there's certain things that I look for. And it's interesting because the phone just said low battery. But here's what I know is that there's a reserve always somewhere. So we have this moment to reserve power so we could finish this. And that was not a distraction, because I want you, when you get distracted is when you need to focus more. And so from my perspective, the one thing that's for sure is that when I scout, I need girls to be 18 and older. I need them to have a U.S. passport, preferably 5'10" or taller. And so those are just my requirements. And again, I'm not this scout that, is always searching. Fatu was my needle in the haystack. But when I do search, and that's from my perspective of being trained from old school fashion days. Now there's such an array, the rainbow array of girls. And so, but for what I look for and how I can be of service is, that there's red tape and the legalities of U.S. passport for the U.S. market. U.S. passport, 18 older, 5'10" plus. And so, again, I'm not actively searching now for models or for the next Fatu, because there's always a next. I mean, when you see Iman, who's like, well, Iman is Iman, Fatu is Fatu, and they're always trying to compare who's the next. No one's the next. It's just the present of who is available and who, and who's on this path and journey. So there is no next Fatu. There is no next Iman. There's no next Naomi Campbell. The next is you, and that's your superpower. Fatu is Fatu, and that's her superpower. Naomi is Naomi, and that's her superpower. Pearl is her superpower.
And Max is Max, right?
And that's my superpower.
Yes.
But so being who we are is our superpower. Don't be discouraged. Do the work. Trust the process. And, don't give up. If it's something that you really believe is your calling, don't give up. And it's easy to say, oh, the industry, modeling is my calling. Take a lot of time to understand yourself first before you make a bold statement like that, because it's a great industry, but you went from modeling to MBA to this to education to that to. Do you have a doctorate yet?
No.
Why do I feel you're gonna have a doctorate?
Okay, it's gonna be an honorary doctorate.
I think
you all.
so.
It's gonna be an
All
honorary
right, you
one.
saw it all here first. But you're gonna get one. I have a feeling.
Thank you.
But there's so much greater purpose than just being an image on a page. And don't get caught up in the image on the page and die empty. Meaning everything you have, all of your gifts, use them. Use them.
Well, with that being said, Max, thank you so much. You all, oh my goodness. Max, you've been such a blessing, such a treat. Thank you for your transparency, your spirituality, your groundedness. That's a word, right? We're going to make it a word.
Aquarians make them up.
Make them up. Thank you so much for your time, for sharing with the community.
Of course, but thank you for noticing what I noticed in Fatu.
Yeah.
And thank you for reaching out.
Yeah.
Reaching out is like one of the first things to do.
Yeah.
Reach out, right?
Yeah.
And show up,
Yes.
right? And so thank you for reaching out, for showing up, and for here we are, for this moment.
Here we are.
Thank you for believing in yourself.
With that said, you all, we'll see you later.